Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Abhishek. In today's video, we are going to understand how we can switch from the developer's role to the DevOps role. I have made a PPT, and based on that, you can also have a rough overview of how you can transition from the developers to the DevOps role. And there are a few pointers which you must be already aware. What are the things which is required for the developers and how the developers usually work, and how you can integrate those skills in your DevOps role. So let's get started. So the first thing is mastering the DevOps transition. So in the left hand side, who needs the DevOps? Like, who is this video for? So this is designed for the backend developers role and who are ready to expand their own space, understanding. So the goal of this roadmap is we are going to demystify the transition, which will be mapping the specific data, like the data, what makes you already understand and then how you can transition from your market, like from your developer role to the DevOps role. Why people wants to shift from the developer's role to the DevOps? The very first thing is financial growth, because people want to grow their income, grow their self financially, as well as the based on the market demands is also growing for the DevOps role, and that's why people is switching to the DevOps role, because based on the use of different types of AI and the tools, we are going to understand how the DevOps is transforming the world IT sector, and this is also future proof, and that's why people mostly usually try to switch from their own world, from the admin or the admin server or the backend or the website developer. So they try to switch it from their own field to the developers or the DevOps. So from the mostly developers to the DevOps field, they want to switch because of first is the financial growth. Second is the market demand, because they have there is a huge market for the developers and for the DevOps engineers. And what is the DevOps engineer? We'll learn about this as well in the later part. Then the future is also secure because it's in the high demand, so you will get more money based on your skills. And there is a automation focused. So there is not the day-to-day codes only. So this also have some of the tools, many tools which you will be using, and based on that, it is nothing but the automation based tools will be there, and because of that, people are more eager to learn this. So this is not about just learning a new tool. This is about the positioning yourself in the market, in the intersection of your development, which is the speed, and also the operational part as well. So developers normally do the developing part, which is the speed and the development. But in the DevOps, you can also do the development as well as the operational part as well. Let's understand the next part. So we are going to understand how the transition from the developers to the DevOps is going to happen, and what will be the speed of your code, how the developers and the DevOps is integration of both the things. So you can see here, DevOps is the collaboration between the development and operation to automate the delivery process. So DevOps is nothing but it's the combination of automation between the developer, which is the development part, as well as the operation part, and to automate all the process, automate the different types of processes which are there in your project. So over here, the dev plus ops, that is DevOps. Dev plus ops. So developers as well as the operational part, development and the operational part, both are considered. So there is a plan, there is a executing the code, then testing the code, building the code. These all comes under the developers part, where the development is being done. And in the operational part, there will be release, deploy, monitor, operate. So all these things comes under the operational part. Then there are some engineers mandate is also written, which is automating the everything from build process to the deployment projects and all this stuff. Deployment of the scripts, since you are also doing the development and the operation and you are in the DevOps, you will be writing the Linux based script. So these scripts you have to build the process, and then you can automate these scripts and deploy as well. Then there is a CI/CD ownership, where the managing the different types of continuous integration and the development or the deployment of the pipelines to ensure that the code works flawlessly. So there should not be any flaws in your code, and the programming has to be done like very smoothly, and all the process is automated. Then the next one, third one, is the infrastructure management, treating servers and network as flexible code resources. So this is again the IaaS, that is the infrastructure as a code management. So infrastructure as a code management. So this is infrastructure management, where you will be managing the different types of servers for the network and the flexible, and make the cloud resources more flexible to the users for the products, which is our project on which we will be working on. Next is the system ownership. So since you'll be doing the development as well as the operations, so you will have the ownership of the whole overview of the project, which is proactively you'll be oversighting to ensure the uptime, what will be the uptime as well as the performance. So everything will be under your control, and you will be managing your system monitoring, infrastructure management, then CI/CD management will be there, which will your ownership, and you will be also automating everything as well. So these are the things which will be doing, which will help you define your work as a DevOps. So these are the all things which you will be doing. So first is automating everything using the different types of tools like the Docker or the Kubernetes. All these tools you will be learning in the DevOps. Then CI/CD ownership you will have to take. Then the infrastructure management, you will be doing the infrastructure management as well as the system monitoring as well. So these are the different aspects you will be doing it. Now the next thing will be, since you already are in the developer role, your backend will be very much aware about the writing the application based on logic. Then APIs and algorithm you will be already learning. Then the databases will be also there. Your core skills will be to execute the code, and the explanation and the debugging will be also there. So you are already halfway. So the next halfway will be your DevOps or the developers engineer role, where you will have to focus on the management and the deployment as well as managing the infrastructure. Then your daily work will be to automate the scripts based on the cloud, and based on the cloud resources, managing the different APIs, pipelines. So all these things will be in the DevOps role, which you have to learn by the time. And then your core skills will be to do the code delivery as well as the reliability, because the reliability has to be there. Once you have made your project, the project should be reliable enough so that there should not be any flaws or the breakdown in your code, in your scripts. So you can see that the delta is the process, you process the logic, system understanding, and programming skills. And the programming skills, the gap is simply in mastering the environment where the code lives. So you are going to do the logical understanding, then doing the mastering of understanding, then your process will be there. Then the simple gap is your understanding of your code programming, and then you do the management and the infrastructure and the development as well. So these are the different things. Now the next thing if you'll see is pillar one. The first one is the language of automation. What will be the language? Because till now you must be aware about the Python, you must be aware about the different types of Java, the JavaScript. So these are the different languages which you will be doing as a developer. You must be doing till now. But for this DevOps role, what is that language? So the first is automation. Automation is the core of DevOps. Now you move from writing code that does things to writing scripts. So till now you have been writing code. Now you are going to write the different types of scripts that manage the different things. So these scripts will be in the Linux based format. Now the first one which will be done in Linux or the bash scripting. So this will be Linux or the bash scripting, where you will be doing the code in the Linux or the bash. Next thing will be in your Python. You'll be doing the glue based code for the complex automation and the logical using the API integration. All these things will be done in the Python. And there will be also PowerShell. PowerShell is nothing but it is essential for the Windows based environment and the Azure based administration. So this will be your like the power skills. So these are the things which will be used. So this will be used when you have the cloud formation template, and all these things will be used where you are making the console and you are designing the different types of scripts. So you are making APIs, then Elastic Cloud will be used. So EC2 instance, you are designing the different types of instance, and then in that instance you are writing the different types of code, which is like the code is nothing but the scripts. And based on those scripts, you are like, let's suppose there is an example that you have made the projects and now you want to check the project on a daily basis through your email ID. So you have to write a script in which you will get the email updates about your project which you have made and how the process is running every day at 5 p.m. So this will be the script which you can write in your Linux based script, and then it will be in the form of bash scripting, and this will be giving you the email every day at 5 p.m. So these are the things which will be used. So Linux and bash, second is the Python, third is the PowerShell. And there is a mindset that you don't have to do everything automatically. So you don't have to do everything manually. So if you are doing anything manually for like one or twice, so more than 2 times, you have to make it script in once, and then it is supposed to make automation. The automation has to be there. Now the second pillar is the assembly line, where the version and the control and the CI/CD pipelines will be used. So this pipeline is the product. So over here you can see that code, which is the code commit using the Git and GitHub. Till now you must be learning about you must have done about the Git and GitHub. You must be aware. If you are not, we'll learn about that as well. Then build and trigger. So whatever the commit and the git you have made about the product, so that git commit you can do, then it will trigger the build option, then it will be automated. Using like the Jenkins or the GitHub Actions. So the way till now you must be using. So using the Jenkins or the GitHub Actions, it will do the automation. And after the automation, what it will do, it will deploy to the staging part. And in that staging part, after the deployment, after the testing, after the staging, then it will be sent to the production. So the first, it will be the source of truth where all the code and the scripting will be done. Then it will be triggered, sending to the testing part. And after the testing part, it will be sent to the staging, and later on it will be sent to the production. So there are some tools which we had discussed. One is the Jenkins. So it is a classic example for handling the different tools and the truths and how to do the testing of the automation. Next is the GitHub Actions, in which you write the code and triggers, and then it will design the different aspects. Next is Git and GitLab. So Git and GitLab is again the modern integrated networks are there, and in that modern integrated network, you can design the code, testing, monitoring, everything at one place. And then there is a concept is the code travels along an automated track. So this code travels along the automated track because one scripting then lead to the second one, and then it will automate everything. And if any fail is there, then the line stops to prevent the bad code from reaching to the production. So the concept is all this automation and the processes is in such a way that it is supposed to stop the bad code from moving to the production part. So everything is triggered, then the testing is there, then the observation is there, and then later on to the production. So if there is any failure in the code or the flaws, then it will just stop it, that script, and then it will send it to the production part in the later part, not now. So this is about the second pillar. Let's understand the third one. Now the third is nothing but the cloud and containerization. Third is nothing but the cloud and containers. In the cloud, the first one where it lives. So there are different types of cloud providers are there, like the Azure, AWS, GCP. These are the different types of cloud platforms also we use, and these are the different cloud providers. And why we use all these clouds and what is the cloud and all, we'll also learn in the later part in the different videos. So that's a completely like different video will make it. Right now, let's understand the cloud where it lives. And since you are a developer, you must be aware about the different types of clouds as well. Now, the most DevOps runs on the cloud. Mostly almost every DevOps engineers works on the cloud. Either it is AWS or the Azure or the GCP. Based on the uses of the different companies where you are working, you will be working with the different types of cloud. So this is about the cloud working. Now there is an infrastructure, and infrastructure is very elastic. It grows based on your requirement. It can also shrinks based on the demand. So this is how, like, I'll give you a live example that once there is a cricket match between India and Pakistan, there are millions of people, crores of people are watching on the Hotstar or the Jio. And in that time, how many people are going to watch and how many people are going to degrade, shrink on that server and the network? So that's very huge. So these all the things are depending and being deployed on the cloud, where things can expand and can shrink based on the demand of the people. So right now, this demand is the people will visit the websites or the apps or the servers. Over there, the people are visiting that site where to view the match. So this is one common similarities, and that's how this DevOps engineer also works. Next is the containers. So containers is, it works on my machine. Let's suppose there is something you have made, the programming is working on your machine, but if it is not working on the others or your client side, then it's of no use. So in that case, we use the containers where the solving this container changing syndrome, where if it is working on your PC, the same environment is there to your client side as well. So if you are changing the environment, then there is a most of the difficulties which comes in the picture. But if your environment and your client's environment or your customer's environment is same, in that case, the consistency is there for your environment, and because of that, it works very perfectly. So it's written that environment consistency ensure that code runs in the same environment and same in development as it does in the production. So the way it works on the development, it simply works in the production as well in the same way. So there is no any different changes or the place where the code is not working perfectly, or the code flaws or the script breaks. So these failures have very less chances to do all these types of failures, because the production and the code and your deployment and development, everything is same. Let's start with the next pillar. What is the next part? So the next one is pillar 4, where the stability at scale. So the more scale it has, the stability has to be there, because the stability matters. When you have this normal code and programming and the scripting is there, and then you are sending it to the production, your code or your script should not break. because otherwise there will be the loss of time, there will be the loss of money, there will be the loss of resources. So this, the last one, which is managing the production, that works very efficiently. So the first example is IAC, which is infrastructure as a code, in which we manage the infrastructure using the configurations rather than doing the manual clicks. So we used to do the automated and the automation, and there are some tools which we use in the DevOps. First is Terraform. Second is the CFT, that is Cloud Formation Template. So this is also comes under this AWS, and Terraform is the industry standard. Most of the people are using the Terraform. It does not mean that if most of the people are using the Terraform, you're also supposed to use it. You will have to use that tools which your company is like working on. Let's suppose your company is going to switch to the Terraform or some other sites or some other tools, then you have to use that tool. But most of the all the tools are in the same way it works. So working is mostly almost same. You just have to see through it for some time, and then it will be okay for you to understand and how does it work. So you will be exporting that. Next is the observability. Observability, you cannot fix what you cannot see. So that's why the observation and the monitoring is very important. So that the first line is you cannot fix what you can see. So the production monitoring is vital for the health of your production of your code and the deployment and everything. So there are again some tools which we use for this. So the first one is Prometheus, then the Grafana is there, ELK stack is there, which is for the Elastic Kubernetes part. So these are the another types of different observability tools are there which we have learned. So the goal is predictable and the reproducible infrastructure has to be there, which means at the different types of stability scale, at the different types of scale, the stability has to be there, and these stability will be managed using the based on the different types of infrastructure, based on the different types of like doing the observation or the observability of your systems. Now the next thing is bridging the gap of. So this over here in the bridging the gap, gaining practical experience. So you cannot learn DevOps just by reading it. You have to build it. Otherwise, without building, the way it's like you can't learn any job, any work without doing it. You can't learn the cooking by just reading the cooking recipes book. So you have to do the cooking, and then you will understand how to do the cooking for the 2 people, for the 1 people, for the like group of 5 people. So similarly, if you're working on a project, you can't do it just by reading it. So you can't learn DevOps just by reading it. You have to build something. So the first things how you can become a proper DevOps engineer. So the first is personal projects. You have to build a full pipeline for a Hello World app or the Dockerization app. Push your AWS to via the Terraform to the production level. Then automate with the CI/CD pipelines. So these are the things which will be used. Then open source. So you can contribute to the open source to the ecosystem where the people will understand and see your work. From there also there are many companies which sees the people's work and they can also contact you based on your work. You can do fix documentation or the small bugs in the existing DevOps tools or on the GitHub. So these are the ways for contributing to the open source, and from there people will see your work and then they can reach out or appreciate based on your work and the level of your contribution. Then there is internal mode. So shadow your content DevOps team, then volunteer to handle the small development script, or set in a like post-mortem meeting where the meetings are being done for any projects which failed. So in that case, you can ask your manager or the team manager to let you sit over there and you can understand how the things works, what are the different things which worked well and which didn't work in the scale. So from there, you will understand how the DevOps actually come into the picture. You can also ask for some small deployment scripts. You can help with that. So using all these processes, building the personal projects, contributing to the open source, then move yourself to the internal meetings and all. And from there, you can switch to the DevOps role from there. And once you are done with your understanding the Linux, your Docker basics is done, then Kubernetes is done, CI/CD pipelines are being made, your portfolio is done. There is no any person who can hold you from not getting the job in the DevOps field from the developers, since you have made so many efforts. Because the consistency and efforts matters a lot. The more projects you will make, the more experience you will become, and it will be very easy for you to transfer to the DevOps. And you can also reach out to me if you are done. So we'll also need some other people for our DevOps help. There are many projects which comes to us, so we can also help you in that case. So I hope you understood how you can transition from developers to the DevOps role, and all the best for your future. You can definitely transition to the developers to the DevOps role. If you like the video till now, you can check out our other videos on the channel as well. This is a very new channel which we have made, so I appreciate your consistency, and you can subscribe, you can put your comments, you can give your comments based on like what are the different topics which you want, and like, subscribe. You can also share these videos to your friends who wants to transition from developers to the DevOps role. We'll see you in the next bit. Bye bye.